Hello, this is Wild Earth Safari coming to you from Djuma Game Reserve. My name is Mark and I have Herman with me on camera this afternoon, with Craig back in final control. Welcome! I hope you're going to enjoy the afternoon with us as we drive around this little section of the Sabi Sand, part of the greater Kruger National Park, and we're going to be looking for some of Africa's finest wildlife. We're going to find something and work our way up, perhaps. Something small and then get bigger. Today we're going to do something different. Today we are going to be driving in reverse the whole day. No, I'm only kidding. It wouldn't be too bad because then I'd look at the camera more if we did.
I'd have to look behind me though,
Right?
because you won't be able to see everything looking like. Well, you should actually.
Okay, squirrel, where are you? There it is. That we got it. And it's looking at us. Well, just means it's looking in this. Oh yeah. See, the key to finding some things like, well, especially predators, is listening out for alarm calls of animals. And the squirrel's alarm call, he's gone now. The squirrel's alarm call was quite insistent. And it's all very well that it's alarming, but the idea is to find the squirrel, which we did, and then to see where it's shouting, or rather where it's facing when it's shouting. Give us some idea of what it's shouting or what could be there. But because it's such a small creature and it could be shouting at something small, as small as a snake or as big as a leopard, it is important to see its direction when it's shouting, and unfortunately, not this time everyone, maybe another time. Continue. Maybe there was a snake. Nice and warm and humid. Reptiles should be having a good day today. Steady breeze coming in, might blow in some more weather. What do we see down the bottom there? Is that a wildebeest? Or 2 or 3? Maybe it's got a lamb tucked in the shadows there. But most of the wildebeest here, I'm thinking they must be mostly here. Let's try and figure out the dynamics here today. Here we have a bull on his own. A very big bull. Could be our dominant bull. I would like to see is I'd like to see the right hand side of his flank this morning, and I think that's going to be one way that we can distinguish between the two bulls. But it doesn't help me much trying to figure out who was here first. So there is a second bull in the area, male. I'll see his other side when we drive past. Oh! Gabar goshawk. I heard a drongo squeaking, and then a Gabar goshawk flew out of this large fruited combretum with the very same drongo on, attacking it. Before he disappears, I'm going to move forward. His hands, no, I don't think I'll be able to do that. No, I don't think I will. Unless I can use, I'll just get my binoculars out, see if it helps. Right, let's go forward a bit. Another one, last year's calf, one of the calves of last year that's lying in the grasses here. Not the bull that was on his own this morning. So that's probably the resident bull who we have. The moms, the second calf from last year. She's lactating that calf. I mean that mum. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 12 actually. With the 5 calves from this season. So we've lost at least 2, if not 3 calves. But I think there was one that was born very late. And I'll move back a bit. Pardon? Nice puffy cloud. Indeed. The female closest to us is the one that shows somewhat of an anomaly. and something that I would like to look into. Amongst the many things that I see here that I would like to look into. And that is, if she lifts her head, you'll notice a white chevron on her face, very similar to that of a kudu, with a white chevron, almost like a lance corporal stripe over her nose. If she lifts her head. She was one of the last to give birth, actually. But what is very interesting is that none of the blue wildebeest, or the brindled gnu, that we have in South Africa have that white stripe. Yet all of the wildebeest up in East Africa do. Well, not all of East Africa, in the Selous Game Reserve in East Africa. I'll see if I can do a wildebeest sound just to get her to lift her head. Thank you for looking at me, that's what I wanted. But that was very brief.
That's brilliant. Do it again, do it again.
Okay. But they looked at this way and they thought, it's only Mark practicing his wildebeest language again. Okay, let me move a little forward. So they're moving behind this bush willow.
Okay.
Anyways, that's how this female stands out more than the others. You ready? No, you're not in there yet. Now, wildebeest, you might think, all look the same, but they have that brindled stripe, and that brindled stripe is as unique as a zebra stripe. You ready?
Yes.
Soon it's going to be a case of cry wolf, you know. There really will be danger, and I'll sound the alarm call and they'll think, it's just Mark again. Except we don't cry wolf in Africa, we cry lion. Like Mel's statement, when was it? Yesterday morning. But there are lions out there, dude. In relation to something we had been discussing about the night before. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put my earpiece in. Just didn't cut. Well, I think we should move on. Yeah, they're all busy eating. Earlier on, and my fault came along and they all got up and decided to feed. So we'll leave them be. Pretty safe here. No chance of predators. Bye. Bye bye. Good afternoon, Alan. Welcome to our drive this afternoon. A couple of crocodile questions. Thanks for reminding me. We need to go look for that crocodile. We found his tracks today on Twin Dams Road at the end of the morning drive, heading towards Chelapan. We need to go and find out where he is. He or she. Alan wanted to know, what is the largest prey item that a crocodile can bring down on its own? Well, the very big crocs that lie in wait in the river for wildebeest and zebra on their own, they're pretty big crocs. Or a big cow, where they get to domestic animals. As far as buffalo, I would have to look at it. There's possibly the odd croc here in Africa that could bring down or pull in a buffalo. Now it's obviously, well, it's the crocodile in the drowning the animal, so it's not really the force of the crocodile that's killing it, it's using the water. And crocs will only really attack in water, from water onto land. I forgot the other question already. I was thinking about that question. Oh, what the predators of crocodiles are. That was the biggest thing crocodiles can. And then Alan, what's the predator? And stork. And, well, any of the land predators, if they find them, hyena, marabou stork will eat baby crocodiles. As far as young crocodiles are concerned, they have a number of predators. Just going to pause there while we go through the water and past the pump that is busy pumping water to the lot. Then the frogs and terrapins. I don't know why they don't eat the grasshoppers. Header tank. Right, we'll do the Weaver's Nest up to Treehouse Dam, and then maybe we'll figure it out as we go along. So, I've seen film of a leopard taking a small crocodile. I've seen a film of a leopard trying to take a small crocodile, biting it on the tail, and the crocodile turning around, biting the leopard back. Pythons. A python. There was a python that ate a 6-foot crocodile. I remember seeing film of that too. I haven't seen that in the wild myself. But yes, pythons would eat young crocodiles. I'm sure they're large, say maybe snouted cobra or Cape cobra might eat young crocodiles if they can get them. This is interesting. What I'm finding on the road is a bone. Let me get it quickly and I'll bring it to show you. This morning, right here, we had a mom and her daughter and her son, and they were just on my left, in fact exactly here, through those bushes, and the young female had this very bone in her mouth, and I can see where she's been chewing it. You can see some of the marks on this bone where she's had it in her mouth and she's been chewing it, and as you can see, little pieces, little segment off. It's another giraffe. There was a young female giraffe eating this bone. And I think I had a question about the marrow. Are they getting to the marrow? And I just want to show you. Well, this is a rib bone. And there's no marrow. It's all dried up inside it. There's nothing that a giraffe or anything. Only a hyena will get any nutrition out of that. But, well, there's no real marrow inside the rib bone as such. But it's all about getting to calcium. It's been driven over. That's probably why it's cracked. Anyways, there you go. Probably shouldn't be playing with bones. It'll be there for another giraffe on another day. Up its calcium levels. So Alan, I hope that answers your questions. Hello Alan, welcome to Safari this afternoon. Alan is asking a question about squirrels. What time do squirrels go out hunting? No, I'm only kidding. Alan wants to know what nuts squirrels eat. Hyena traffic. Well, at the moment there are so many marula nuts, Alan, that the squirrels are going to be hiding them, feeding on them a lot. This is our elephant track from this morning. So, at the moment, marula nuts, they will eat. They will get into the seed of false marula, smaller, slightly. Seed, wait until, sorry, I can't do this. They will wait until the seeds are starting to germinate before they eat the seeds of the acacia. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. I'll get back there in a minute. There's a very interesting thing happening here. We've got so many grasshoppers at the moment. There's a garden orb spider. It's not the golden orb, it's called the garden orb. Genus Argiope. Argiope, I think it is. And it has caught itself one of these grasshoppers, one of the many grasshoppers that are getting big now, and we're finding them everywhere. And she's found herself a meal that'll, she could quite easily see herself through the entire dry season. This is not like the golf in the, it's actually, and she's in very, very fine silk, and what happens is actually that fine silk is almost elastic, and as she injects as she injects it with a digestive enzyme to soften it all up, that, what's she doing now? Oh, we can't see. Okay, we're going to have to wait because the computer's not behaving again. She's cutting it loose. I think she's sucked everything out of it. Okay, we'll have to leave. It's very difficult for Herman to work at the moment because we just keep losing the video feed from the camera, and without being able to see it on the monitor, it comes back for a second and goes away for 5. And she's just moving it around to reposition it.
Maybe if you can just go stand there, then the second I've got it, I can quickly crash zoom. It's not back yet, it's not back yet. Sure, I was totally at the wrong place.
Yeah?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, now we got to... Aha. A very different shape to the golden orb. You can't really see it too well, but that's probably because the grasshopper broke it. It's a very big grasshopper, would have damaged the web quite considerably. But this particular species of spider has a thing called a stabilimentum. Some spiders do. The lace orb weavers have stabilimentum as well, for different reasons. And the stabilimentum is there to provide a visual cue to things like birds. Obviously reflects. There's a possibility that it reflects UV light, and it stands out for birds to avoid it. She's got exquisite markings on both the underneath and the top side of her abdomen. These were my favorite spiders as a kid. I used to keep them in my bedroom. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see a little bit of the stabilimentum below the grasshopper, that little bit of zigzag silk that has been bent and broken. I'll see if I can find you another one that's still got a complete zigzag stabilimentum. Okay, let's move along. That's schools. Alan's interesting question, Alan, I have to admit. Apart from the nuts one, I mean the nuts, squirrels don't only eat nuts. If you think of a nut is merely a seed of the group of plants known as the dicotyledons, which means that they have 2 halves to the cotyledon, like a bean, as opposed to a monocotyledon, like a maize seed. Even if we had some of the, I could get a wild sorghum. I haven't seen wild sorghum here, but squirrels are dung. This is a very fresh elephant track, and he's come from the dam through this track, and he's gone down towards Chelapan, We'll just go up to the dam and come around again and have a look. That's not, I don't think that is yesterday's elephant. It looks very, very fresh. Do you know if there was elephant at the dam today? I forgot to ask Sapiwe. He's now gone on leave for a week. So Alan, they eat seeds, all kinds. The acacia seeds have got that root system for it to break outer skin so that moisture can get in. It's a protective measure so that the seed doesn't just germinate on, during unfavorable conditions. But it also ensures that not all the seed germinates underneath the tree of the adult, of the parent tree. So there is plenty here for squirrels to eat. They will even eat parts fruit before they get to the nuts or the seed. Things like the brandy bush, raisin bush, the fruit of the marula and the false marula, the jacket plums. Hello, this is Giraffe. This is our giraffe from this morning. Hello, madam. I think it is. I don't see her youngsters around, but that doesn't mean they're not here. But I can't see them. Have you got a fairly clear view of a giraffe disappearing into the bush? Okay. She's gone down into the drainage line. Perhaps a bit later. And then the other question about squirrels that Alan was asking is, what predators would eat a squirrel? Because a squirrel being so small, what good would it be to visitors? Well, Alan, there are probably more smaller predators than there are large ones. Excuse me a moment. This tree here on our left, you can actually see one of the two of the fruits in it. This is known as a monkey orange. Very interesting tree. And it's known as the green monkey orange. I think also known as the spiny monkey orange, if I'm not mistaken. It's genus. We're in the sun. Does it help looking into the sun, or do we need to turn around?
It never helps to look into the sun.
No, it doesn't help. No. There's a little. So that it doesn't roll off. There are a lot of teeth marks on it. Something's had it in their mouth. Very, very hard. Although it has in it, spider web. for food. Well, interesting, there's almost claw marks on here, but it's probably just teeth marks. Is this knife very sharp? Am I going to cut my hand off? I can't get into it with this knife. I need something a lot bigger. Oh, what am I saying? It's a Leatherman. Ta-da! Now, I've sadly cut through some of the seed, and you can see how I've cut right through it. I better not touch it too much. Now, the scientific name for this plant is Strychnos, S-T-R-Y-C-H-N-O-S. And this particular species is known as Strychnos madagascariensis, I think. I must check on that, maybe. Craig, am I right? I think it's madagascariensis. I've suddenly forgotten. The other one is Strychnos spinosa, the spiny one. That's the orange one. But these seeds contain strychnine, and if you think of the scientific name Strychnos, derived, well, strychnine comes from, you can get strychnine out of it. And usually, though, the fruit pulp part of it can be eaten. I've only eaten pulp from the other one, the spiny. Never eaten pulp from this one. But a very, very thick skin. That's probably about maybe 5 millimeters thick. It's as tough as a, let me think, what would it be like? You don't know gem. A lot of people don't know what a gem squash is. There's no fruit that I know of that's got such a hard skin that I could relate it to. Anyways, that is the monkey orange. Herman, wash your knife. It's got strychnine on it. Thank you. Strychnos. There's actually a lot of it in this little section. Not all of it fruiting, but there's quite a lot of it here. Now, some of the primates will eat that fruit part of it. I don't know how they deal with the seed part of it. And I don't poison the close Culacia, and it might require a photograph. You see the red?
I'm getting there. Put your hand on it again. Got it.
Might keep me waiting for a minute. Is known as Zero Fighter. It's the baboon's tail or bushman's candle. There's also a lot of that lying around. Now the stem of that plant, the Bushman's candle, is comprised of this very, very fibrous material, and it's very, very dense. That so basically this is a broken stem. It's just the dried outer fibers once the plant has died off. And what Bushmen would do is actually be able to carry a coal. This is a lot they would use, but they would be able to carry a coal in here. But the other thing that they could do is drown this or soak this in fat and use it as a candle, as a torch. A few distractions this afternoon. Still got to talk about who's eating squirrels, because they're a little bit too small for lions and leopards. Although leopard could subsist on squirrels quite easily. The red flower, well, Kalanchoe, maybe, no, is it? I must have a look. Obviously I didn't bring my books today. Otherwise I'd have them out already. Sorry, what's that? And well, I'm not sure if crassulas come in red, mostly yellow I think. I must have a look. It's growing, it's probably the same family as a crassula, part of the Crassulaceae. There's another group of crassulas, and I'm just trying to think of the name. Semi-succulent type things with a very similar shaped flower. But yes, squirrels have many predators, a number of snakes. There are many snakes that prey on squirrels. There are especially pythons and black mambas. There are many of the birds of prey that prey on squirrels. Eagles, harrier hawks, owls, treehouse dam. Got nothing to do with squirrels though, other than having squirrels here. Okay, not seeing much dam at the moment. I think if we drive around, come back in a few minutes, we might find a rhino or something here. Hot days like these, could sit at a dam like this and probably see more just coming to the one dam than we could maybe driving around. Let's see, what else is there that'll eat squirrels? Genets, the genet African wildcat. Although you have to remember that genets, African wildcats, are nocturnal, squirrels are diurnal, but these small predators can get into squirrel nests. So squirrels do have a fair number of predators, Alan. There's lots for them to eat and there's lots to eat them. They're not that safe out here in the wild. And then moving on to Ed's question. Ed wanted to know what the difference is between a grasshopper and a locust. Now, in entomological terms, grasshoppers are when they're individuals. When they start swarming, they're termed locusts. However, you do get some very large grasshoppers that might be called, just a common name, would be called a bush locust or would have the name locust in them. But generally speaking, hello butterfly, generally speaking, locusts are used, the word locust is used to refer to grasshoppers that are in vast swarms. And these aren't just grasshoppers. If it's swarming, call them lists. Why? I don't know. But they're the same group of insects. They're the same things, really. Just semantics. Just different names. Thank you, Lynn, in Canada. I'm sure I can always count on you and a few others to correct me, put me on the right track. I had it right the first time, I think, and then I changed my mind for some reason. But yes, the green monkey orange is known as the spinosa. It's also the spiny monkey orange, Strychnos spinosa, and the other one, the orange one, known as a spineless monkey orange. Really, spineless, you spineless tree, you. No backbone. Binky, hello Binky. Yeah, I have to tell you, probably I shouldn't. For some no, actually, there is a reason. Father used to call me Binky. And I don't know, I must ask my parents how it came about. This Kruger Park, I was probably about 2 years old, couldn't have been one. It was around about the time when I saw my first elephant. Well, I recognized it as an elephant. I probably saw many elephants before then, but I was too small to really appreciate it and realize what it was. But I had a funny name for warthogs. I call this is embarrassing, but hell, why not? Why not? Binkelbockel Moutons. I don't know where it came from. It was something that came out of my head at the age of 2 or 3 or something. And so that's how I got a nickname, Binkel or Binky. I don't know how you got Binky. I'm going to have to ask my father again. I'll phone him tonight. How it came about. As far as I know, just somehow it came to my head one that warthogs were that. But Binky wanted to know how many edible fruits there are. Edible to humans, that is. Gosh, I'd have to think about that one. 1, 2, 3, there's 4, 5 good ones that I know, but then there's probably about, and then all the raisin bush, that you can say about 5 species of raisin bush makes 10. So we've got marula, false marula, jacket plum, sour plum, some of the milk berries, raisin bushes. There's several species of raisin bush. If I think of any more while I'm driving, we'll add to the list. While I'm driving, I'm looking at trees and I'm trying to think which of these will have a fruit. And you could add the monkey orange because the fruit is palatable, of the spineless monkey orange. Can't eat the seed. There are a number of species of the cucumber family. Spiny cucumber, Cucumis zahiri, is palatable, and although one might say, oh, but that's a vegetable, it's not, it is a fruit. We just eat it as a vegetable, like a tomato, which is a fruit, but we eat it as a vegetable. There aren't any. The members of the tomato family that we have here are quite poisonous. A lot of these trees are mostly seeding trees without fruit. Craig can help me, can think of any. Jackalberry is another one. Ted's on me. Captively enough. Speak of it. This has already been eaten, so I can't eat it, I'm afraid. It's just the shell of it. Whoops. Now this particular cucumber has the stem where my fingers are holding it. This has been eaten out. There's still a seed inside there. It's probably been eaten by one of the baboons that came past. That is Cucumis zaheri. And there are a lot of cucurbitae, which is the cucumber family. Franklins are not happy about something just inside here. Unfortunately, it's very thick and I can't get in there. There are other members of the cucumber family, some of the squashes, but then again, they're not really, well, they're eaten as a vegetable, but they're actually fruits. There are a few roots to eat. Roots and tubers. We have water lilies. The water lily tuber, the root tuber of the water lily is very much like, well, it's eaten like a potato. Very, very palatable. And it is utilized by many people in areas where lakes exist, where the water lily is common. The tuber of the Sansevieria that we get here, which is known as mother-in-law's tongue. And it's called mother-in-law's tongue because it's long and it's hard and it's sharp. Cindy knows all about Sansevierias. Here's my elephant tracks. Here are my... We drove here this morning, I think we did. We'll see if we can find where he went to. Looks like he went down Dam's way. First Chelapan, and we're gonna have to have a look for our crocodilian. Our dinosaur. Resident dinosaur. Strange, not seeing him, still not seeing him here. Him or her. Where are... Let's see, maybe you can just see the eyes or something sticking out. Might be hidden in all the grasses, but there were definitely fresh tracks coming this way this morning. The guarri. Guarri is another fruit that you can eat. Maybe if I go paddling, go frogging, maybe I'll find the crocodile quicker. Actually no, maybe the crocodile will find me quicker. Actually a butterfly. Beautiful moon rising at the moment. We're going to see if we can get that a little bit later. Waxing gibbous moon. Supposedly going to be as close to us, or the closest to planet Earth. For 18 years or so. Right, our elephant headed south. Funny, came north on Weaver's Nest, came down Chelapan Road, and now it's going south. So maybe it's out towards the bit of luck, Twin Dams. Let's get to Twin Dams. We might have a bunch of elephants there. Our buffalo from this morning. It's changed mud wallows. Obviously that one must have got a little bit hot. This one's maybe a little cooler. There's a bit of shade here, although he's not in the shade. Afternoon, Squire. Actually, are we not too much of an angle? Is it okay?
That's all right.
Okay. I have a funny feeling we're going to come past this buffalo again a little bit later. We'll see another 2 or 3 down at Twin Dams. But I would like to get there. Don't want to belittle the sighting of a big buffalo bull lying in the mud, but he's not too active. I suppose there's one in Nyari on Twin Dams Road, Spaghetti Junction in the Mighty, and if I could get an update please. Copy, thanks. And see on the left side of the road this crocodile's tracks coming up from Twin Dams. There was some dwarf mongoose in the road up ahead.
Yeah, you can see them quite nicely actually.
Good.
Can't see them now though.
Because of me. Back foot is about, well, bigger than my hand by the looks of things. I mean, it's a huge foot. But definitely these tracks coming up this way. Okay, well, the elephant went down to the riverbed. I'm hoping that it still continued on south. towards Twin Dams. Either that or he's gone east. And we're going to go and see the dam anyway. I don't know if this is the big crocodile or the small crocodile. Maybe it continued on and went up to Gari Dam. Or maybe it's just hiding in the shadow pack. One thing I can do is just check, or maybe not now, maybe a bit later, we'll check in the sand in the Mulwati. We're going to check now because I can hear a squirrel shouting down there. Much difference to the water level here. We had evidently about 70 millimeters 2 nights ago. That is almost 3 inches of rain. I'm not seeing anything down here, and I'm not hearing the squirrel anymore. One thing I did want to look at to see if there were any crocodile tracks here, but they're not. This is Mumba Road, by the way, back up onto Twin Dams. Some news for some of you who may be interested. Henry was telling me that he went down onto Arathusa this morning to see 3 of the Styx Pride. There was the one old female and the young male and the young female, that young sub-adult male, who we've all been concerned about at times, evidently looking quite fine. Wish they'd come back this way one of these days. 3 of the Styx in Arathusa. And Induna was on Gallagher this morning, near Gallagher Camp, Gallagher Access Road. Gallagher. Hello boys, Impala rams. I'll get to them shortly. And have a look at some dams first. Go all the way around it, come back to these Impala. One thing I'd like to take note of, maybe Sharon will do that. It is mid-March. Wahlberg's pale phase, P-H-A-S-E. Pale phase Wahlbergs still flying around. There are still European rollers. There are still redback shrikes, and there are still woodlands kingfishers. And I think we need to start taking note of these things, try and figure out dates that they leave. I mean to do that every year for the last few decades. And just get caught up in everything else. And suddenly one day they're not here, and you try and rack your brain, try and think of when the last time you saw one of these migrants. Let's have a look on Ballymain.
Standing by, Stu.
No special tracks here at the moment. A little grebe on the water and geese having a bath. And I'd say that probably no croc around. Very bright with the sun shining on the water. Right, onward ho. Somebody hit that with car. Crocodile or no crocodile? No. No sign of crocodile. Hello boys. Very, wow. These impala are fat and healthy. Give them 2 months, they're going to be turning on each other and losing condition fast. Look at that. Shiny coats, round bellies. Contrasts. They're already, look at that, there's already a little bit of dominance behavior here. This ram's actually not chasing the other one, but he's just pushing him away, just holding his head in a particular stance and position, not stance but in a particular way that shows dominance. The other impala giving way and moving away. Excuse me, Hornbill. Thank you. I think we'll go back to Bataleur, the east, up to Cheetah Cut Line, perhaps. drive in the riverbed instead of the road. Oh, there's a bushbuck. He's running away. There's a bushbuck ram. We haven't seen a bushbuck ram for a long time. Bushbuck do show a little bit of the dimorphism that Nyala do between males and females. There he is. He's just, please stay, please. Oh, he's gone into that thick, long grass. In that the bushbuck is a little bit darker than the female, but not as stark a difference as it is with the Nyala. They are cousins, the bushbuck and the Nyala. Related to the kudu. Hello, Kukul. Are you going to sing for me? Looks like he's building up for a song. A really scruffy tail. But the Kukul has a scruffy tail generally because of the way they... I knew he was going to do that. I could see that throat fluttering, just dying to call. Do it again, please. Oh, nearly got that grasshopper. Once more. Yeah, dived into the grasses. And that is why the Kukul has a scruffy tail, because it spends its day climbing through thorn scrub and grasses and thick bush, chasing after things. Probably one of the main predators of chameleons, especially in places like the Cape, where you get the dwarf chameleon, and shame they just get eaten by the Kukuls. Kukuls have a way of finding things. Known as the rainbird. I don't know, I hope you heard that little bit of song as I started talking. Beautiful liquid notes of the Kukul. C-O-U-C-A-L, Kukul. Interesting feature that they just, well, I suppose they discovered it, but young Kukuls, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the Kukul, I must check on it. See, now here the elephant track's still heading south, so maybe they went up, maybe he went up Mumba Road. Otherwise he's crossed down south, and I didn't see the tracks because I only touched on, what's that road, Gary Main. But the chicks of a Kukul, now a lot of all the other birds, not a lot of, all other birds, their chicks have downy feathers, feathers that are multi-filamented. And the chicks of the Kukul have this really strange down. It's just a single filament. It actually looks like a hair, animal hair. I've only read the article briefly, but I mean I need to read it a little bit more in depth to get more of an idea of it, of the premise of the article. But it's just an evolutionary gap between hairs and feathers. Lots of elephant tracks here. And a rhino. You see the rhino's tracks on Twin Dams Road. I wonder where he went. Probably in the riverbed, in an area where we can't go to or get to. briefly during that heavy rain. It was soaked away very quickly. Funny, there was a time not so long ago when as soon as the elephant dung hit, the scarab crowded, almost arrived en masse, scattered the dung within minutes. And we're getting into that time of the year now where the elephant dung is staying in its bolus, not getting distributed very much at all unless the birds start digging through it. Most of the scarabs have finished their breeding cycles. Most of the adults have died off. I would say that most of the dung balls and the dung heaps and the chambers underneath the ground are full of larvae of dung beetles eating away at that dung, getting bigger and fatter. And whoa, sorry Mrs. Spider. Oh, you hadn't built a web yet, you were only making one. Let's start again. Mr. and Mrs. Franklin and 3 chicks. Clunk. Bye-bye, Franklin. I'll see you around the bend. Yes, I know. I am already. Good, those Franklins are teaching their chicks a bit of road sense. They move off the road straight away. Nice to find a road that hasn't been driven yet since the rain. There has been an elephant here, but it's not fresh. One rhino that we haven't seen for some time is that female with the calf. The little one, about a year old now. Maybe a bit more than a year. She just hasn't been back here for some time. I've just seen another tree that adds to my list of fruits. Although it's not very palatable, it is edible, and that's the battle torchwood. My word, look at you. Giant warthog. It's almost as big as a buffalo. Not really, I'm just saying that. Just thought I'd make him feel good so that he doesn't run away. Shh. Yeah, the radio chased him away. Should have had the sound down. Did you manage to get him?
Yeah, but that comment definitely helped, hey? We should try it more often.
Mm-hmm. I suppose sometimes I surprise myself even. But that was a big boar. That was a very big warthog boar. I nearly said, well, long enough. A little curve to his tusks, and he was holding his mouth in a way that we could see his lower set of tusks, stiletto blades that are self-sharpening against the top set of tusks. And they are his weapons. His top set are his tools for digging. The lower set of tusks are his weapons. Well, that's interesting. Baboon tracks up here. I don't think I've seen baboon tracks up here too often. Not many. One or two. Oh, other news that I meant to tell you, and I know it was more important than news of the Stickson in Luna, was that Karula's been down on Arathusa for a couple of days now. Which is why we haven't been seeing any of her tracks or any sign of her. Oh, big hyena track here with these baboon tracks. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Couple of ripe marulas on the ground here, so just shows that they are still fruiting. Still a few falling. I think elephants must be sick of them by now. Just imagine baby elephant tagging along. Whoops. Beautiful web. Made after the rain. Get under this tree. Try and avoid it, although first game drive to come by will have to break it. That will be sort of straight in the face of the guests. Yeah, I was saying, just imagine little baby Ellie tagging along with mom and the herd, arriving at a marula tree, and little one saying, "Oh gee, Mom, not marulas again." Can't we go raid the cornfields one more time? Girls, I know you can't teach a spider whip in its web, but I'm sorry to do this. See, the rain washed them out. Out came the sun to dried up all the rain. You know how the story goes. And this is an east-west road, and we mostly get the rain from the south, and of course that means that the webs get spun on these east-west roads. Rhino tracks that are old. I mean, nothing is really old. Everything is as old as yesterday morning because of the rain. It washed everything so clean. But those tracks are from yesterday, those rhino tracks. I was going to have a look at something else, some other tracks just in. Partially obscured hyena tracks. I thought for a minute it might be wild dog. What?
No, nothing.
Did you do a shadow? You thought I didn't see it because it was in the sun. Oh, you're doing that? Uh-huh. Peace, brother. we're going to play around Cheetah Cut Line, Drakensberg Drive. I think we might have a lovely sunset tonight. If some of this cloud sticks around, it's kind of dissolving, burning away in the late afternoon. We'll also stick around here because we might find something interesting. We'll go and make a turn at Buffelshoek Dam and see if we can find some tracks of Yambilu Jordan. He was around here 2 days ago. He could have disappeared in the rain, and we won't know where he is until we find his tracks again. Henry, please relay that for me. Please relay that last message, Glove. I thought I heard Corbett say something. Jewel beetle. Wow, the giant jewel beetle. Just stop, please, for me, somewhere. It's gone into Torchwood. I'd say that jewel beetle is about as big as a hummingbird and brighter coloured, or as bright. You know those emerald green hummers that you get? Jewel beetle would be almost the same colour. Got to try and get one before the end of the season. They're such fast flying beetles. They're about the fastest of all flying beetles. Not all beetles fly. Beetles on the ground have fused wings. They don't have wings anymore. Well, they have fused elytra. They've actually lost their flight wings because they're ground dwellers now. But most beetles, and we're not talking about bugs and other insects, we're only talking about beetles now. Most beetles require this whole takeoff process. I mean, it's almost like flying a small plane. It's got all these pre-flight checks, climbing to a half point, turning into the wind and twittering those antennae, and it's almost like this brain is going through a series of checks before it opens the elytra and then slowly unfolds those flight wings and then takes off. So a lot of beetles you can catch quite easily because they can't fly away very fast. Jewel beetle, on the other hand, is like a fly. It's like instant. It's like shoo, and it's gone. Did you get that? No? Shoo, and then it's gone. Pardon? Shoo, and then it's gone. And more often than not, the only time I find those big jewel beetles is after they've done their thing. They've died and gone to heaven and they leave their skeletons behind. And I'd say it's probably going to be impossible to get one of them on film when they're flying. You can't even follow them with binoculars. Follow one with a camera. Oh, this camera. Pretty awkward. Drill beetles are also special because they're some of the oldest living beetles, longest living. In fact, Herman asked if there's drill lying now on Peter Cutline. It's older than you, probably by about 10 years. About 30 something. $35. Okay, so that's 15 years older than you. Sorry, spider. But all the questions dried up. Okay, I've got a question. Why is a beetle not a bug? I'll give you a hint. Same reason why a grasshopper is not a bug. But there we are. Approach Biffles Dam with caution. A hippo. I'm not going to see the hippo from this angle. Okay, there's a very lucky lady spider. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, 10 males in her web. Let's get a bit closer to her. Very interesting. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 males in this golden orb's web. Now that's pretty tough competition. There you can see 3 of them to the left of her. And she's not full sized yet. Almost. Males are. That's about as big as the males get. In fact, they're quite big for males. The big It'll give me an idea of anything that's moved within the vicinity of the dam in the last 24 hours, 36 hours. These are two Franklins that were shouting a few minutes ago, with two Birdsall starlings in the tree. Might be a snake here. What's up, kids? Show me. I think the Franklins were shouting and the starlings came along to see what the Franklins were shouting at. Not the greatest angle, could rather try and see it from the western side, but if I go any further it'll fly away. Maybe not. Come on, let's get a nice picture of the two of you in this bright sunshine. Beautiful light. The perfect light for starlings. Get to see that beautiful iridescence. Bye. Thank you for your cooperation. That's the word I was looking for. Cooperation. Smelling elephants. No. Try now. There's a good one. Thanks, Dave. Dave Keen. A good answer. Bugs liquefy their food. Beetles munch their food. That is true. Beetles have chewing mouth parts. Bugs have a straw for a mouth. A lot of bugs don't necessarily liquefy their food. I got a beautiful shot of a twig wilter that I took the other day with its proboscis. I forget now. There's a special name for a bug's proboscis. Sucking the sap out of a twig, and then you get the assassin bugs that jab the prey and they suck the juices out. But yeah, that's pretty much it is one of the very strong differences between bugs and beetles. Wondered why it was quiet. My radio was suddenly very low. Well, it was off. Not off, but volume was down to 0. Yep, I think we might, well, no, there's some very thick cloud above the escarpment. We might get a nice sunset. Brand new tire tracks. Tire tracks that didn't come out on that side of the fire break. Oh, I hear a great spotted cuckoo. Oh yeah? Probably the same one teasing me. Yeah, there's very dense cloud. It might be good. Might be a good sunset. Been a while since we've had a good sunset. Hello, Roland. Oh, maybe if I didn't move. But the fact that I said it meant that I made a noise and it flew away. It's only about 2 feet away from my face. Haven't heard from you for a while, Dave Keen. going to lose the light as this cloud. Okay, namuk. Yeah. Bye bye. There are some rhino tracks here, but you clearly see that these rhino were here when it was still wet. So that would have been yesterday morning. Also looks like another front moving in down south. There's a line of cloud down there. Dave, wanting to know what's the largest beetle I've ever encountered. There's an elephant tracks across. Dave, I would say it's one of the giant longhorns. Kind of a toss-up between the giant click beetle and the giant longhorn. No, I'm forgetting Botswana. There are giant snouted beetles. That must. We're on Mumba Road. Oh, okay. What on earth was that?
Jumped up all the way down.
Was it a stick that threw sand up? Or something? Huh? A disrespectful stick. Run, squirrels! Ah, the goshawk. Squirrels must have been hiding from goshawk, and we just disturbed the hunt. Can we see goshawk? No. Fortunately not. African goshawk maybe, I'm guessing. Find your face. Let's see, we're going to have to try and avoid this arachnid. But there's some tracks in the road that I'd like to see. Rhino tracks heading west. See my elephant going to find them. Mumba Road. That sky, as soon as we get past this bush. Oh, that is stunning. Elephants are still there. I see one of them. Let's get to this. Let's just go up to the open area quickly. Beautiful sky. Can't not see this sky. No, that's a double negative. Well, that's fine, because it means we can see it. But you know what I mean? Can't miss seeing the sky. One of these days they're going to cut this lawn for the northern sunset. That is beautiful. I'm quite shocked actually, because there would have been a time a few days ago that the sun would have been behind that dead tree there with the curve in it, and we missed it. Welcome to Africa, to all our viewers here on Wild Earth Safari. My name is Mark, and Herman is on camera. And we are coming to you from Djuma Game Reserve here in the Sabi Sand in South Africa. World-renowned Sabi Sands. famous for its leopards. We're hoping to find one any minute now. But first we have to go and talk to some elephants. The sun has a few minutes to go before hitting the horizon and painting that cloud pink and orange. Shall we? I could sit here until the sun sets, but we got a little bit of light left. There's a flower I want to show you, and then there's an elephant, or two, or three, that I want to eat. Light on it, we might get to see it nicely. There. Quick zoom into the flower and then we're off to see the elephants. The wonderful elephants of Oz. No, it doesn't rhyme, does it? Very similar flower to the cassia, and funny enough this I think used to be called a cassia, not acacia, cassia, C-A-S-S. I don't have to say S-S, double S, C-A-S-S-I-A, cassia. But the cassias that has been decided are all of those that have round pods. Those that had flat pods were renamed as Senna, S-E-N-N-A, as in Ayrton Senna. Off we go, elephant time. As it has been my last few drives, end of drive we find an elephant. Oh, that sky is going to be lovely. Otherwise it's fun. I have to do this, I'm afraid. I'm not going to sleep tonight because I broke some spider web. Yet another one. Come on, climb up this. Another east-west road that's full of webs from the rain. I hope on both sides. It might be so far off the road by now that I might not even. I think I was still further up ahead. They went down just over the ridge. They're still on the road. Yeah, I want to switch off and listen anyway, because this is where the elephants are standing. Here, their tracks and their dung. See, in Africa, we don't have silver linings to our cloud. We have golden lining to our clouds. Golden sunsets. The only thing I can hear at the moment are parrots in the distance. Going to light a fire underneath that cloud now as it hits the mountains. And it really does look like a flame there, doesn't it? Okay, let's head on and see if these ellies didn't maybe follow the road. Cut through to the north. There's a mud wallow just in here somewhere, just off between here and Battalier Road. It's 8 track. It Yeah, there's an elephant track on the road still heading west. Maybe by now they're down in the dip, in the Milwaukee already. Okay, I'm sorry, but I've lost the elephant. What happens when you see something from such a distance? Something as big as an elephant that actually can cover so much distance in such a short space of time. We did dawdle a little bit with sunsets and flowers, but elephants we can find tomorrow. That sunset was a one-off, never to happen, never to appear again. To the right of that leadwood?
Yes.
The second leadwood?
Yes.
Yeah, I see. No, it's a dark shadow. And I haven't come this way. Oh well. going to go up Battalier Road a little bit in case those Ellies came north. It's about time that they'd be crossing Battalier Road by now. Oh, they did move west for a short distance. And then I didn't see whether they went north or south from Mumba Road. One I can tell you from my travels today, from this morning, I've tried to do 2 different areas. Well, covered some of the same ground, but most of the ground that I've covered today, not a sign of any of the cats. Well, we know that Karula's not here, we know Induna's not here. That only leave, well, it doesn't only leave Mishu, but there's no sign of Yambilu Yordan, and no sign of Mishu, no sign of White Cloth. We haven't seen White Cloth Kid for a while. Drongo just chased the pearl-spotted owl into this knobthorn. Can't see it, it's too high. Right up at the top, I can't even see it goes, it's flying up. No, that's not a pearl-spotted. It's been a little banded goshawk or something. A little sparrowhawk. I suppose we might as well just take this road and then go back along Central. If these elephants were coming this way, they would have either been here by now or we would have seen sign of them, but I think they must have then turned south perhaps. Maybe towards Twin Dams. We're going to turn around. We're going to get so dark going through Central Road. We'll go back to, see if we can try and get back to open area near camp, see if there's anything there before we go. Move around there. So don't forget, I owe you elephants because we saw them from 1,000 meters away. And they were gone by the time we got there. Because I dawdled. Crocodile tracks. Coming from the drainage line from Buffelshoek Dam side, it's the smaller crocodile, smaller of the two. Hello, Mr. Buff, you still in your water? You just turned around. Yes, I'm going. You see how he threw his head at me. Okay, I'm going. Fine. You missed it again. Saw the first one. The track was... Okay, I can read body language as well as the next buffalo. So I've got a boss and I've got two curled... Yeah. I think I could pass for a short-sighted buffalo if I met another short-sighted buffalo without glasses. Good song there. There are only a few times in the month when at sunset we have a moon to look at. And that is just after new moon, when we've got the crescent moon in the west. Then we lose it for a little while when at sunset, going in towards first quarter, just before first quarter and just after first quarter, the moon is directly above us at sunset, and it's difficult to get the camera pointing in that direction. But the other time of the month is now, going into full moon, a few days away, of the waxing in the east. It rises quite late in the afternoon. Today it is a little bit high. We'll see if we can get it after I say goodbye. Tomorrow I'm going to give written instructions to Tara to see the moon after she closes off, and then on Friday, 2 days time, we're going to see the moon rising quite big and bright just after sunset around this time. And then maybe Saturday be a bit too late. Saturday Tara might be able to get it on Saturday. Okay, we've got darkness falling. Falling fast, in fact. Ultimately, I would have liked to have found a dead tree for you as a backdrop, moons at the back, as a foreground. Maybe I can find in the next 20 seconds, find something in the foreground. I guess not. Tonight, Josephine. Is that a bit too high to get? It's been a lovely afternoon. Maybe if you see the moon better and you can see me.
That's alright, I can see you now.
Okay. I've had fun this afternoon. Thanks for the questions and thanks for the interest. My name is Mark with Herman on camera, and you've been with us here at Djuma Game Reserve. And this is Wild Earth Safari. Do join us again tomorrow with Tara and have fun with her in the morning. From all of us here, goodbye, good night, and see you in the morning.